Happy tax season, everyone! Today we're going to be talking about the medical expense tax credit, what it is, how much can you expense, and what kind of medical expenses are not allowed, because there seems to be a lot of confusion. So here's how the medical expense tax credit works. Medical expenses in the household can be band together. So that's for you, your spouse, and any dependents in the household can be tallied up and put together to make sure that they equal a certain amount. And these are medical expenses that are in any 12-month period ending in the current tax year. How much can you expense? That's the bummer. So you can only claim medical expenses that are above 3% of your net income, and that's for a household too if you're claiming with a spouse. So let's say that your net income was $50,000 and you had $2,000 worth of unclaimed medical expenses in the last 12 months. 30% of your net income at $50,000 would be $1,500, which means that only the extra $500 would be eligible for the medical tax credit. So you might be asking yourself what qualifies as a medical expense for this tax credit. Well, generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, any equipment or prescriptions or treatment plans that you needed that were diagnosed from a medical practitioner will count. Things like prescriptions, optometrists, dental, chiropractic, physiotherapist, hospital visits, all of that stuff from a medical practitioner counts as a medical expense. But there seems to be a lot of confusion around what does not count as a medical expense. So athletic or fitness clubs, no dice. Any over-the-counter medicine like Tylenols, no dice. Vitamins and supplements, even if they're prescribed by a medical practitioner, are still not allowed. And also, cosmetic surgeries or procedures are generally not considered medical expenses. These are things like teeth whitening, hair replacement, maybe some Botox. These are things that are not required for your medical health, and therefore, unfortunately, they don't count as medical expenses. The list of what's allowed and what's not allowed is long, so make sure that you check on the CRA website to see what's allowed to be expensed and what's not. So best practices: 1, keep all of your receipts for anything medical. Even if you're not sure and you don't think that you can expense it, keep the receipt. A tax professional will know. Number 2, talk to a tax professional come tax time. There's a lot of ways that you can maximize this tax credit, and speaking to a professional will allow you to make sure that you're doing that. And 3rd, keep the receipts for your medical expenses for 7 years, because if you get audited, you're gonna need to go back that far. If you don't live in Canada, that's okay. Make sure that you check with a financial professional in your area, because it's likely that you might have a very similar tax credit. Make sure that you also watch my videos on what is a tax credit versus a deduction, and for any of our mobile users out there, be sure to check below because the links are posted in the description.